everyone. How are you all doing? If you're curious about what I'm doing, I'm just having a nice slice of Keir Starmer. Oh, sorry, I don't really get indigestion. It's not hyperbole to say that history has just been made, that everything has changed and nothing will be the same again. Hannah Spencer, Green Party candidate, local plumber, has crushed both Reform and Labour in the Gorton and Denton by-election. Her campaign defeated Labour in one of its safest seats, and now Labour MPs across the country are terrified that they're next. Should we have a little listen to Hannah? I think we should.
I didn't grow up wanting to be a politician. I'm a plumber. And 2 weeks ago, during all this, I also qualified as a plasterer because even in chaos, even under pressure, I get things done. I am no different to every single person here in this constituency. I work hard. That is what we do. Except things have changed a lot over the last few decades because working hard used to get you something. It got you a house, a nice life, holidays. It got you somewhere. But now, working hard, what does that get you? Because talk to anyone here and they will tell you. The people who work hard but can't put food on the table, can't get their kids' school uniforms, can't put their heating on, can't live off the pension they worked hard to save for, can't even begin to dream about ever having a holiday, ever. Because life has changed. Instead of working for a nice life, we're working to line the pockets of billionaires. We are being bled dry. And I don't think it's extreme or radical to think working hard should get you a nice life. And I don't think that if you're not able to work, that you should still have a nice life. I think that absolutely everybody should get a nice life. And clearly, I'm not the only person who thinks that, because I've made clear my position and my commitment to working class communities, the community that I am from.
Blimey, it's quite explosive, wasn't it? Appropriate, I feel. Should we do this as well? Why not? Yeah, barely slept. Just adrenaline. I promise it's just adrenaline. You know what that feeling is? Maybe some of you have forgotten what it is. It's been a while. It's been a while for a lot of us. It's hope. That's what the feeling is. Hope. This is what hope feels like. Now, we're going to talk about what this all means, where things go from here, and also what this politics of hope is up against, because I'm telling you now as a fact that all of the worst people in Britain are currently shitting themselves. Their world has been turned upside down, and they're going to stop at nothing to crush this hope. Before we carry on, though, because we've got to do some sober analysis, guys, could I kindly interest you in a little free dopamine hit? This is the Green Party Deputy Leader, Mothin Ali, just before the Green Party's victory was announced. Bless his little cotton socks. Right now, this is the triumph of the politics of hope. A devastating defeat for a politics of fear and hatred which has dominated this country for so long. Let's just absorb what happened. Less than 2 years ago, Labour won more than half the vote in Gorton and Denton. The Greens came a poor third with just over 13% of the vote. This was their 127th target seat. What that means is the Greens have a list of seats that they want to target. And this came down at number 127. That meant there were 126 seats that the Greens judged to be better place for them to win than Gorton and Denton. And this is a seat where at the last election they had no ground operation to speak of. They started this campaign with almost no data, with almost no existing local infrastructure. They were up against the Labour machine, which has dominated those communities for literally generations. And what happened? The Greens didn't just win, they crushed their opposition into the dust. Over 40% of the vote, nearly 15,000 votes. Their nearest competitor was Matt Goodwin. What did he get? Just have a little look again, shall we? Oh, dear. Well, that's unfortunate. You see, the Greens got 40.6% of the vote, and Matt Goodwin came second with 28.7%. It's really, really sad. Labour came third with 25.4% of the vote. Literally half their vote halved in a year and a half, a bit more of being in government. Pretty impressive. How did they do this? How did they make history? Because this is one of the biggest swings of any by-election since World War II. Yes, it helps. They had a candidate who screamed Mancunian authenticity, a working-class warrior with principle and courage. That helps. But this was a grassroots campaign which mobilised thousands of activists in support of a politics of hope that millions of people out there believe in. Now, yesterday they had more campaigners than they knew what to do with. They knocked on door after door, offering a clear message, an alternative to a broken economic order, rigged in favour of elites, which has plunged millions into a permanent cost of living crisis. This was class politics, arguing that the wealth created by the hard graft of millions shouldn't end up in the bank accounts of a tiny few, but invested in services, communities and people. That our services and utilities should be owned by the people. They shouldn't be cash cows for profiteers. And that, yes, as we'll come on to, this country should not arm a genocide. This is a massive vindication for the strategy of Zach Polanski, who became Green Party leader last September. Now, before he came along, the Greens were just running away from a massive open goal. They had this kind of, twee middle-class politeness. Their social media game was horrific. He understood that the Greens had to embrace class politics, the idea that the interests of the majority are not just different from the elite. They're on a collision course, that people's anger shouldn't be shied away from, but channeled in the right direction. Not at those who are struggling, not at your neighbours, but the people at the top who are booming. Like the bankers who plunged us into economic disaster, which we never recovered from. And he understood you've got to marry that anger with hope. And that strategy has been devastatingly vindicated, as it is. What trebled the Green Party membership? We've seen the poll link, and now we can see this is real. This isn't made up. It's not a fantasy thing. This is real. Now, when I was up in that constituency, I saw working class people of all backgrounds and ages who had voted for the Labour Party all their lives. Their mothers, their fathers, their grandmothers, their grandfathers, their great-grandmothers, their great-grandfathers, and so on had voted for the Labour Party. And they abandoned it. Why? Because that party's abandoned them. In the last few days of the campaign, canvassers told me that undecided voters had been sitting on the fence flooded over to them. Let's talk, shall we, about the defeated candidates? Let's start, I think, with Matthew Goodwin, or Matt Goodwin, sorry, as he now calls himself, the liberal academic turned right-wing demagogue. Reform chose him because he's a GB News presenter. They thought he's got name recognition. He took Reform's message of bigotry and scapegoating to a working-class community, and they told him to take a jump. I've got another tweet for you, by the way. Just brace yourself in it.
Mr. Goodwin, a bit of an embarrassment, isn't it, to lose to the woke Greens, isn't it? Proud patriot, not able to win a British seat. Bit embarrassing, Mr. Goodwin, wouldn't you say? Well, you've lost to the Greens, sir. You've lost to the woke Greens. You can't beat the Greens. What a joke. A proud patriot can't win a British seat. My goodness, to the Greens of all people. You're going to moan about it on GB News? You're going to moan about it on GB News? How much of a loser you are? A loser to the Greens. My goodness. It's bad form, isn't it, to just lash out at the winners? Not very sportsmanlike behaviour, would you say, Mr. Goodwin? How does it feel to be a loser, Mr. Goodwin? Mr. Goodwin's a loser. Are you going to rally about it on your show, GB News? Losing to the Greens? Loser to the Greens? Goodness. The Greens of all parties, the woke Greens. What a proud patriot you must be.
What? It does sound like the guy in The Inbetweeners, if anyone's watched that. How did Reform respond? Gracefully accepting they'd lost and congratulating the winner? No, they did not. Instead, they've imported the Donald Trump playbook, claimed the election was stolen, undermined people's faith in democracy. The loser, he lost badly, Matt Goodwin, posted, "We are losing our country." Nobody, you're losing elections. A dangerous Muslim sectarianism has emerged. We have only one general election left to save Britain. Vote Reform every chance you get. I will continue the fight. I will always fight for you. I will stand at the next general election and lose again. First off, this guy has an acute case of main character syndrome. He clearly wants to be adored. The problem is, he doesn't have the skill set to justify his self-obsession. He's charmless. We've got no warmth or charisma. He's Alan Partridge without the warmth or the charisma. As an example, I give you this.
Don't let Mad Zach hypnotise you into voting Green. They want to legalise all drugs, crack cocaine and heroin. They want open border chaos. Keir Starmer looks like a robot. Doesn't understand the British people. Vote reform. Put Gorton and Denton first. A vote for Goodwin is a vote for Gorton and Denton. Vote reform. Get Starmer out. It's time to sack Keir Starmer.
Oh my God. It's worse watching it the second time. Honestly, I watched it when that bad boy first landed on social media. Woo! I can't believe he didn't win with that. Nigel Farage has gone further than Matt Goodwin, saying this election was a victory for sectarian voting and cheating. Matt Goodwin was a great candidate for us. Yeah, he was really good, Nigel. He did really well. Roll on the elections on May the 7th. It will be goodbye Starmer and goodbye the Tory pie. It was already goodbye Reform pie because you got thrashed, buddy. What they're doing, joking aside, is whipping up anti-Muslim bigotry rather than accept they lost. The Green Party won, you see, a massive victory fair and square. Both non-Muslim and Muslim voters chose the Green Party. I spoke to so many older working class white people who were voting for the Green Party. As it happens, I was told by canvassers yesterday that there were both Muslim and non-Muslim residents voting for Labour still, because they believed, unfortunately, Labour's lies about having to vote for them to stop reform. What actually happened here is the Greens united people of all backgrounds based on their common shared interests. As Hannah Spencer said, in this very diverse constituency where our struggles may not always be the same, but where we know how hard life can be. And we stick together, whatever our beliefs, our backgrounds, our colour or our level of education. We stick up for each other. I'll tell you this, there is hope in that message. There's hope in that message. You see, this politics of hope, of fear, the politics of fear, has tried to turn people's anger at each other. And we've seen, for example, this demonisation of Muslims, which we can see in this election. We'll talk more about that. And, you know, this idea that you can't have communities where people from different backgrounds can live together harmoniously. But this is a rainbow coalition they built. This is a coalition of people from completely different backgrounds, united because they have common shared interests. There is hope for the future of the country in that coalition. That's where the politics of hope lies. But let's talk about the Labour Party. Do we have to? Sadly. Their campaign was a disgrace. A dirty, lying, gutter, nasty campaign. They lied through their teeth, claiming the Greens were nowhere and voting for them would let in reform. And, if it wasn't for the tidal wave of support for the Greens, that may well have let reform in. And they would have preferred that, literally. Ministers went around telling journalists they'd have preferred reform to win. As a journalist reported today, one Labour minister told me yesterday, the tea room chat is that people wouldn't be happy with reform, but it'd be a hell of a lot better if reform win than if the Greens win. If the Greens win, we're fucked. Kind of looks like you're fucked then, doesn't it? Labour sent leaflets inventing a fake tactical voting site, which supposedly endorsed Labour. Didn't exist. It's just unbelievable behaviour. I just can't get over the fact they did that. There was a disgusting van going around Gorton and Denton telling voters that a vote for the Greens would mean letting their daughters be used for prostitution. They smeared the Green Party over their evidence-based alternative to a war on drugs which has failed on every measure and handed a massive revenue stream to criminal gangs while depriving people with addiction with the help that they need. And they also resort to dog whistle attacks against Muslims, with one cabinet minister claiming the Greens were whipping up hatred against Muslims. Why? Because the Greens oppose Israel's genocide, which the British government continues to arm and facilitate. The Labour Party must never, ever, ever be allowed to get away with this. This shame must haunt them forever. It must be hung around their necks, this disgusting, nasty, vicious campaign. How has our Prime Minister for now, Keir Starmer, responded? Magnanimity, can't say that word, you got the gist. Humility, brace yourself for this.
I will also fight against the extremes in politics, on the right and the left, parties who want to tear our country apart. The Labour Party is the only party that unite our country and our communities, and we will line up together in that fight against the extremes of the left and the right for the values that we believe in.
How dare he, actually, to be honest? This man who raised the rhetoric of Enoch Powell, who bashes and demonises migrants, who's introducing one of the most vicious asylum systems in the whole of Europe. This man who has tapped into those toxic politics of bigotry rather than answer people's actual problems. How dare he say other people are divisive? And it's clear from how he spoke. Did you notice how he hates the left most? It's the left he spat out in disgust. That's what makes him angry. You know, that you could tell had really got to him. Being defeated by the left. Because, you see, with the right, he's happy chasing the right. He's happy being pressured by the right to, clamp down on migrants and refugees. But what he's trying to do is this both sides of them. Yeah, of course, because that's totally right, isn't it? The left and the hard right, totally the same. Because, you see, what the hard right want to do is demonise and attack migrants and minorities. And the left want to tax people who are booming at the expense of society to invest in communities. They want to bring utilities and services into public ownership rather than being cash cows for private profiteers. They want workers to have more rights. They want to tackle the climate emergency in a way that saves humanity, but also creates jobs and improves our living standards. They want to tackle the housing crisis. They don't want to arm a genocide, which involves arming a state which is cooking toddlers alive in burning rubble. Both the same. Exactly the same, aren't they? Both two really equally extreme positions. Now, what's clear from that is he's going to double down on his catastrophic failure of a strategy. We heard what he said there. No compromise with the electorate. Let's listen to Starmer in 2020.
When you lose an election in a democracy, you deserve to. You don't look at the electorate and ask them, what were you thinking? You look at yourself and ask, what were we doing?
Amazing, just amazing. Suddenly what he said there doesn't apply anymore, does it? Not when the left beats you. You don't listen then. Also, let's listen to what he said in 2023.
If you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave.
All right, Keir. Don't have to be asked twice. Off we go. Yeah, so he told us where the door was and we exited. Ooh, not so happy about it though, is he? You see, what Labour have done to people like yourself is say, basically to you, we think you're scum, we hate your values and your principles. In fact, we're going to insult your values and your principles. We're going to attack you if you're, for example, disabled or a pensioner. But scumbags, you got to vote for us, you got no choice. Otherwise, you'll let reform in. You let the Tories in. Argument's dead. And instead, what those people have done is go, okay, fine, I'll take my vote elsewhere. And now an existential crisis. You see, Labour cannot be reformed. It has to be replaced. Even if they get rid of Keir Starmer and replace him with someone who tries to show a bit of ankle to the left, rhetoric and policies, you wouldn't be able to trust them, not least because the Parliamentary Labour Party is full of ghouls, soulless, dead behind the eyes hacks who'd sell their own mother on eBay if it advanced their political career. That's who we're dealing with. They are fundamentally opposed to meaningful change. But their whole shtick, vote for us to stop reform, it's gone. You see, if Labour can be defeated in one of their safest seats, then Labour can be defeated everywhere. They can be replaced by the Green Party everywhere. And Labour MPs know it. And now they're in meltdown. But the whole Starmer project was based on destroying the left. That's all they had in the cupboard. That's all they had. Nothing else. Crushing the left and deceit. He lied through his teeth. That whole leadership campaign lied through their teeth to become leader of the Labour Party. And then abandoned all the policies that he committed to when he became leader of the Labour Party. No vision, no answers to the problems caused by a broken economic system, just deceit. And they thought they destroyed the left forever. They thought if you crush the left within the Labour Party, that's them gone. Where else are they going to emerge? They did not see themselves being gobbled up alive by the left in the shape of the Green Party. They never saw that coming. But this is the beginning, or has to be the beginning, of something big. But I don't want to ruin the pie. I still, don't want to ruin the pie. Just a bit of warning. A lot of powerful people are currently rattled. They're angry and scared about the surge of the Green Party in the left. And what is going to happen is the smear campaign you've already seen is going to go up by several notches. It's going to be vicious. And we've got to be prepared for that, because they're going to try and crush this hope with, both personal and political smears. So let's get prepared, because it's going to be a rocky ride. But there is hope again. Hope is back, baby. There are elections coming up in May. And this is for those who have been treated abysmally by a broken economic system rigged in favour of the elites. It's for all those people across the country whose lives have been made hard and difficult. And I'd also say it is also for Palestine. You see, it's framed as religious sectarianism to oppose the genocide. I'm not Muslim. I happen not to believe in God. I respect those who do. I object to the mass murder of innocent people. And what the political and media elite did not understand, and still don't understand, is for so many people, watching the political and media elite willingly be complicit in the genocide was a big red line, and that red line has been crossed. It is a combination of so many different factors. But now, this whole politics of fear, that is always the whole political conversation about bashing migrants and making life worse for people, that now has suffered a big defeat. And now, what they're scared about is the political conversation is going to shift. Taxing the rich, public ownership, investing, not arming a genocide. That's what they're scared of. Let's build on it and let's be prepared for the battles ahead. Please like and subscribe, leave your thoughts and comments. Help us take on the dire media ecosystem and at patreon.com/Unreal84. We've got a lot to talk about now. We already did, but we've got a lot more to talk about. We're going to be covering this in the big battles ahead. I've done an interview with Zach Splansky, that'll be up. I'll be interviewing Hannah Spencer, but also we'll go back to travelling around the country as well in the build up to the elections. So, yeah, you make all this possible. Share the video, press like, subscribe, leave your comments. I'll speak to you in a bit.